Yo, it's your boy Foots here, guys. I literally watched football and testing from 1 p.m. to what time is it? 9 p.m. And I was just actually finishing up watching up a wrap-up show. I've been taking notes literally all day. It's cool because this is what y'all know. This is my time of year. This is what I love to nerd out on. And I got obviously my day one winners. Let's see if y'all can see that. Boom. Look at my day one stuff. That's that 4K for you, baby. I got my day 3 winners, quarterbacks and receivers. And it was an interesting story today because the first set of receivers was kind of underwhelming. You know, guys like Tank Dell, you're that small, I need you to blaze. Guys like Jordan Addison, you're that small, I need you to blaze. And they just didn't. And this is kind of why, you know, you guys haven't heard me just rave about Jordan Addison. Now, I have him ranked high, but I'm going to do some reshuffling with my receiver rankings, and that's part of the process. But the quarterbacks, they put on a show. And I know everybody wants to talk about Anthony Richardson. Well, we got to talk about C.J. Stroud. So the quarterbacks and receivers today, I was going to wait and wrap them up together, but I had to do this right now, get you guys the content because you guys are rocking with me. And I feel like this one is going to do numbers because even if you're not a fan of the Cowboys, if you just, love good quarterback play, I know a lot of teams and fans want to wait till the next year's class and this, that, and the third. But I saw some things today that tell me when you marry the tape, and that'll be the big thing with how I rank some of these guys in my receiver prospect, in my receiver rankings who really helped themselves today as winners. The testing the testing now is married with the tape. Same with the quarterbacks. Anthony Richardson looked like Zeus out there, right? Everybody, he's the headliner, and it wouldn't surprise me if he's a top 5 pick. Somebody, I don't think he gets past Seattle. Somebody will find a way to, and Pete Carroll is that type of coach who will find a way to put in a scheme that he'll make it make sense, right? But if I took away anything from these quarterbacks, it's the way CJ Stroud, listen, Bryce Young is my favorite quarterback in this draft, but if C.J. Stroud goes 1, I would not be mad. The Georgia tape and now this, coming behind Anthony Richardson in drills and just being way more accurate than Anthony Richardson. The Georgia tape, the one question that you have with C.J. Stroud is how does he play off schedule? I think that's what Bryce Young does out of this world. He plays off, and that's why the 5'10" frame doesn't bother me. And he's very accurate, Bryce Young is. But C.J. Stroud, the body control, the weight transfer, he wasn't real heel clicky. The mechanics, the arm was live. He threw the ball the best at the combine today, and it wasn't close. And I'm so happy for C.J. Stroud because while we fall in love with, how a person looks or this, that, and the third, it's about accuracy. It's about play diagnosis. It's about, scheme. It's about being able to make certain throws. And, I don't want to down talk Will Levis, but everybody's going crazy. And I'm watching him throw a 5 and out and the ball's late. And that's not going to work in the NFL. Just because he's a strong white guy doesn't mean he's Josh Allen. Who's going to put in that scheme and that plan for Will Levis? I don't see it. I didn't see it when I watched him live. I don't think he has a good feel for pressure. That's just me. But I don't want to down him. I'm just saying that's just me. Yep. And again, my list here, and you guys see it on the screen for my quarterbacks with C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Stetson Bennett. And I'll go back and I kind of was like, Stetson Bennett, he's 40 years old, the whole 9. But I liked his moxie today. I really did. Max Duggan. Guys, Max Duggan was faster than Jordan Addison. Now, the accuracy is definitely going to have to get cleaned up. But if you want to, groom a backup who will be tough, who will, can do some things in the run game, who kind of can be athletic, Max Duggan is a guy who I really like the way he did things today. And this is the big one that I want to speak on while we're just talking about quarterbacks. If Hendon Hooker is there in the 3rd round, I think it's a no-brainer that the Cowboys draft him. You don't know what's going to happen with Cooper Rush. He actually probably earned himself some money somewhere else being a backup. I think that Hendon Hooker is the perfect guy who can come in here and learn from Dak. I think that Hendon Hooker's a starter in the league. I don't know if he's a stud, but I know that he's a starter. I know that he's super accurate. I know that he really wanted to throw today, but Hendon Hooker is somebody, and he speaks real. He's clean. He speaks the right language. He carries himself a certain way. So Hendon Hooker is a name that a lot of people would say maybe the 2nd round, but the injury may push him to the 3rd round, and it'll be interesting. So those are my 5. I don't have Will Levis on this list because nothing moved me today. I'll just be honest when it comes to the quarterbacks. Those guys really put on a show today for me. All right, let's get to, for me, the headliner of today, and that was these receivers. Now, the quarterbacks always steal the shine, but I saw so many cool things, cool nuanced things from these receivers. A name, and he's going to pop up on this list. Let me just get the list out the way right now. Jackson Smith-Njigba, 1, and we'll talk about this. Zay Flowers, 2. Rashee Rice, 3. We'll talk about that. But this Charlie Jones, this Charlie Jones, Purdue kid, I got to go back and really clean up some thoughts on him. I have him ranked. I didn't have him in my last video ranking, but I had him, 10 receiver-wise. It's going to be some shuffling because the speed, married with the tape, married with we'll talk about him. Jalin Hyatt and Cedric Tillman. Those were the guys that kind of stood out for me. I thought that Tank Dell also ran some good routes, but the size and he wasn't blazing fast. I don't know. But let's get to Jackson Smith-Njigba. To me, was the best route runner there, and it wasn't close. Jackson Smith-Njigba was the best route runner there, and it wasn't close. The vertical was good, 35 inches. I didn't expect him to run a fast 40 times, so I don't really care about that. The route running and how he gets in and out of breaks and how he moves and how he crosses people up and just how smooth he catches the ball. He's receiver run for me. Quentin Johnston, I just saw the route running is just so hard to watch, mixed with the drops that he has. I didn't even rank him because I just didn't like what I saw today. Like, his movement just wasn't there for me because these corners, like Diggs is sitting on that, and you're not going to run away from Diggs. You literally have to route a corner like Diggs up. He's sitting on that. And the problem with guys like Dell is he's just going to put his hands on Dell, and he's going to reroute Dell. And so that's the reason why you can't be that small and be that slow. If you're small, you got to be a fast guy, to me. Now, Zay Flowers really answered some questions for me as well. He looked smooth. He was really the only weapon in that Boston College offense, so that was cool. But the speed. He answered the question with the speed, with the 4.43. I thought that was perfect fast for him. Now, one that I really want to talk about who tested off the charts for his size is Rashee Rice. Basically, a split image of CeeDee Lamb as far as the testing. But the grit that he has and the grit that he plays with is scary. 40-inch vert, 4.51 is fast enough for Rashee Rice because he's physical. He's a big body. Like, he wants to get in traffic, catch the ball, get hit, bump, bruise. Like, that's what he wants to do. So I think that was perfectly fast enough for him. But this Charlie Jones, for him to run that 4.34 and then, we got to remember, he transferred out of Iowa. He only played 1 year at Purdue. If he would have went to, a big name school with a great quarterback, it could have been even better. But he's so nuanced as a route runner. I just went through 2 games. We're going to go through the rest of his film. He's so nuanced as a route runner. But now I know he's fast. That's when you start saying, and now that I know he can jump, and you see him run routes, you're like, hold up. He running routes, and he looked cleaner than a lot of these guys. A lot of these guys that everybody was hyping up, I don't know. So he's definitely one for me. I thought that Jalin Hyatt did okay. The route running could have been better. You guys know how much I love Hyatt, but I'm also going to be fair and objective. So in being fair and objective, I thought that Hyatt did okay. I thought he would run faster. I thought he would be like a sub 4.3 guy. He wasn't. I mean, Charlie Jones was faster than Jalin Hyatt. And the route tree is more wide open when you look at Charlie Jones than it is for Jalin Hyatt. Jalin Hyatt is more of a just 9 go ball, everything down the field. And that Tennessee offense is tricky because everything is to the edges. That's what Heupel wants to do. But I'm not downing Hyatt because I would love Hyatt in this scheme. But with this Jones, if he's sitting there in the 3rd round and you have a plan for him in the slot, I think he's a better version of Cole Beasley because he's a little bit taller. So need to think about that. And then Cedric Tillman to me was just fast enough. I think it was 4.54. The tape checks out for me with Cedric Tillman because he's a big body. You go back and look at the Georgia game from last year. He was exceptional. Except not last year, 2 years ago. He was just exceptional. Just took over the game. So had some injuries this year. But I think that Cedric Tillman checked off enough boxes for me. But again, with some of these smaller receivers like Jordan Addison, hey, Jordan Addison, you can't run a 4.55 40, and I know he said he had the back tightness, but you can't run that 40, and I already have questions about your deep speed, and you're not a big guy. He's only 175. People got to understand, league bump is different. League corners are different. You going against Tyreek Woolen, 6'4", can move. You going against Sauce, who's grabby, who's feisty, and can run. So if you're not a big guy and you're not fast, it's tough. It's tough. And you're not like Jordan Addison is a good route runner. I don't think he is Jackson Smith-Njigba as a route runner. So those are my thoughts, guys. I'm really passionate about this one because Dallas needs a receiver. But to me, Dallas has to get the right receiver. You just can't get a guy because you don't want to waste time. You need a guy who can plug in right now. Those Ohio State guys, Olave, right now. You see what I'm saying? What's my guy who got drafted from the Jets? Right now. So those Ohio State guys, when you think about Jackson and Njigba, right now, we got to go right now. If you give me Keenan Allen, who I comp his game to, right now, CeeDee Lamb can do his thing. You can put another guy on the edge, and then Jackson can work the middle of the field right now. So it's your boy Foots, guys. This was a really fun day for me because I just got to be a nerd, and I was really locked in. I'll do O-line and running backs tomorrow. Thank you guys for locking in with me all weekend.